Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, November 13, 2024. I am Rochelle Baptiste with the details. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has commenced discussions for the 2025 budget. Acting Prime Minister Montgomery Daniel, speaking on NBC Radio this morning, announced that this week ministers are presenting their budget estimates to Cabinet for review and discussions. The acting Prime Minister expressed optimism about the process, though he acknowledged that the budget is typically a challenging task.
The Cabinet also meets for further discussion in the 2025 budget discussions. Of course, the budgetary discussions really got underway on Monday with the various ministries making their presentations to the Cabinet. And of course, despite the absence of the Prime Minister, this is one of the most odious tasks, for the government, because as you realize that establishing a budget for the country is quite a task at hand.
Consultations with stakeholders on the preparation for the budget estimates have also begun. Various sectors are being given the opportunity to present to Cabinet to ensure that allocations are made when necessary. The acting Prime Minister noted that discussions are expected to wrap up by the end of this week.
Other ministries are slated for tomorrow and Friday as well. More than likely, the budgetary discussions will conclude on Friday, but by and large this week is really set out for that kind of work. So that, as I said, the work continues, and the Prime Minister is, as usual, he is doing great work for this country, and no doubt his hard work has been uplifting this country, not only here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but the wider Caribbean and Latin America as well.
Following the budget discussions, the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the 2025 fiscal year will be laid before Parliament. The budget for St. Vincent and the Grenadines is in 2024 is just over $1.6 billion. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, speaking at a town hall meeting with Vincentians and friends in Highwycombe in the UK on Monday, announced that his government is seeking the assistance of construction workers to help with the rebuilding process in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, particularly for the southern Grenadines, which was devastated by Hurricane Beryl.
Beryl has damaged severely or destroyed 4,993 houses, containing 19,444 persons. The cost of repairing and rebuilding those houses, I'm going to only talk about houses, but I can talk about other things. The cost is, in US dollars, about $150 million. It has caused $150 million or 400 million EC dollars, Eastern Caribbean dollars. The economic damage has been estimated at 1/3 of the GDP, of the gross domestic product. That's not the economic loss. That's the damage, because there's the loss. People, consequentially, people don't have jobs. You have to take care of them and so on. I'm only talking about the economic damage directly. The agriculture has been shot through. Tourism plans, particularly in the southern Grenadines. You take an island like Union Island. Union Island has 1,300 buildings. Only 1 or 2 remained, flattened, but only 79 of them had insurance. That's the scale of the problem I'm talking about. So you see why I need some persons from the armed forces or people with building technology from Britain to come and help me. And when they're coming, I want my brother Kerr to send steel and cement and lumber and galvanize and so on to help me build back better and stronger.
Noting that over the past 24 years, St. Vincent and Grenadines has been impacted by 12 significant natural disasters, including the 2021 volcanic eruptions and more recent Hurricane Beryl. The Prime Minister emphasized that the country needs at least $150 million for housing recovery efforts.
You can talk all what you want at COP about climate change. I have something here. You can't tell me that you're going to give me something down the road and you're seeking to have agreement with other countries and all the rest of it. I have a problem now. I want for housing $150 million on a lot of people because I don't have enough persons to work, to build back fast. We train a lot of people, they go into other islands, but that is if it's in the normal thing. I have the persons are in other people's homes. We have 500 and something in shelters. I have nearly 600 in what I call touristic accommodation, guest houses, apartments, cheaper hotels and the like. And the state pays for all of that. The expenditure, my recurrent expenditure in the month of October was 27% higher. Not on capital, 27% higher than it was in the October last year. My revenues have not gone up 27%. I just give you the month of October and I can go everywhere. But I can't leave the people to suffer.
Prime Minister Gonsalves also mentioned that there are currently 22 Romanians and Scottish workers in Canouan and Union Island assisting with the rebuilding efforts.
And I went there to talk to them because I want, when this batch comes back home, comes back to Tanara on December the 15th, I want on January the 15th, not just 22 to come, I want 30 to come or 35 to come. So I was encouraging them. And they're all very happy and anxious to volunteer to come. So you see me on the road, I'm not just going to the British government, I'm making the links elsewhere. Because you have to build these friendships and build this solidarity and you have to have a plan.
The Prime Minister, who is accompanied by his wife Eloise, is expected to return to St. Vincent and Grenadines today after a 10-day visit to Europe. And the Holiday Inn Express and Suites at Diamond is set to officially open this Saturday, November 16, 3 days earlier than initially planned. Deputy Prime Minister Montgomery Daniel announced the new opening date and said that the event will be marked with a gala ceremony. However, the hotel will begin welcoming guests for business on November 22nd.
The structure is ready for its function. And so, on the activity was really scheduled for the 19th,
which was next
Tuesday. We had to review that date, and we are now having the function on the 16th. This is scheduled, I think it's around 4 o'clock in the evening. But interestingly though, that the Holiday Inn will accept its first guests on the 22nd of November. That's when the doors are open to business.
In preparation for the opening, hotel staff underwent training earlier this week. The acting Prime Minister indicated that the Holiday Inn Express and Suites is already fully booked, which is a promising sign for the new establishment.
My understanding is that the hotel is fully booked for the rest of the year. Of course, there would be the games here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, the cricket games. And it is that activity which has really caused the hotel to be fully booked for the rest of the year. So we are happy that already the hotel it seems to be doing good business at this time.
Daniel expressed his satisfaction with the increasing number of hotels opening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, calling it a boost for the country's hospitality sector. The hotel features 92 rooms, including a large conference room and a pool. Investigations into the vessel Splendid Ace, which was damaged on Sunday, revealed that the vessel collided with the jetty at Port Kingstown. This was noted by Acting Prime Minister Montgomery Daniel on the radio today. Reports indicate that the extent of the damage was measured by port authorities.
While it was boating, the ship collided with the jetty, causing damage to the hull of the ship. I got a report from the harbor master. I got a report from the manager of the port, and the report indicated that the damage to the ship was approximately 6 feet above the watermark on the ship, and that the damage itself was approximately 4 foot long, or 4 feet long and 2 feet wide.
Vehicles were reportedly successfully offloaded from the vessel on the same day it arrived at the port. The acting Prime Minister explained that the further delay in the ship's departure was due to SVG lacking the technical expertise to assess the damage. As a result, an expert had to be flown in from Trinidad and Tobago to conduct the assessment.
The damage in itself was serious enough to cause the ship to be able to travel out of Port Kingstown. So the port manager had to contact what is called the class surveyor, of which none of this technical person is here in the country. And so one was contacted out of Trinidad and Tobago, who came in on Monday to do the assessment onto the ship. The repairs were done, and the ship was able to sail out of Port Kingstown yesterday.
Commenting on the cruise ship that attempted to berth at the Kingston cruise terminal last Sunday, Daniel said efforts were made to have it docked, but these attempts were unsuccessful. This, he added, resulted in a loss of revenue for the country, which he called unfortunate.
The cruise ship was asked to try and have its passengers disembark from an anchored position, but subsequently that the ship decided not to anchor, and therefore move on to its other port. The reality is that with these scheduled visits, the expectation of not only the visitors but of course our country is to have activities that can improve the economy of the country. And it's unfortunate that this is one of those activities that we have lost. some foreign exchange, of course.
In the 72-hour weather outlook, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Met Services reports that unstable conditions will continue to bring pockets of moderate showers across the islands with the possibility of isolated thunderstorms. Residents and motorists in areas prone to flooding, landslides or near rivers and streams are advised to remain prepared. The forecast further indicates that a ridge pattern is expected to dominate weather conditions from Thursday, bringing fair to occasional cloudy skies with a few isolated showers. The Met Services notes that there is a possibility of scattered showers by Saturday evening. Gentle to moderate southeast trade winds are currently crossing the islands, and wind speeds are expected to decrease along Thursday and Friday. Seas are currently moderate in open water, with swells peaking at up to 1.5 meters on the western coast and near 2.0 meters on the eastern coast. Marine users are urged to exercise caution due to above normal sea swells, breaking wave action, and the potential for rip currents near shorelines. Sea conditions are expected to improve by Thursday. In addition, the Met Services says varying concentrations of Saharan dust haze will cross our islands over the next few days, thinning out by Saturday. Now we hear that St. Vincent and the Grenadines will join the rest of the world tomorrow, Thursday, November 14, 2024, to observe World Diabetes Day. And President of the SVG Diabetes and Hypertension Association, Inc., Janice Oliver Crease, is calling on Vincentians to get tested for diabetes. The association will offer free testing tomorrow at Richmond Hill Playing Field. In an interview with SVGTV News today, Oliver Crease stated that many people are unaware that they have diabetes, but through increased awareness, the association hopes to change that.
We are here to be an advocate for the entire nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, most of those who are diabetic and those who are not diabetic, because we are talking about preventative measures. So our motto is that we care, and we want to show our people that we care in St. Vincent and the Grenadines by screening for those who are not yet do not know whether or not they are diabetic. We are able to go out to schools and do screening, and also up into the city Kingston from time to time. And once we notice people's blood sugar is rising, we will advise them either to go to their health center, and we will also bring the nutrition unit on board, because we collaborate with the Ministry of Health. We are not an entity by ourselves, so we work together with even NGOs out there and those who are willing to partner with us.
The theme for this year's World Diabetes Day is Breaking Barriers, Bridging Gaps. The SVG Diabetes and Hypertension Association, Inc. has been conducting educational sessions with employees from various private and government entities.
We're able to give to another business place, screening their workers, and we're able to counsel them accordingly. And on Wednesday, we will be doing an educational session at another business place, meeting the workers right where they are. And Thursday is our big day, which we will be hosting a glow walk, which will be started at the Richmond Hill Playing Field. We will start from there around 2:30, screening persons who are willing to have their blood sugar checked, and also our participants who will be going on the walk with us starting at 5:30 p.m. in the afternoon. So we will be leaving the Richmond Hill Playing Field, and we will be heading up to Tongue Hill Short, go down to Long Wall, and then we swing to King Garden, and we will be coming out at the intersection. And when we get to the intersection, we'll be getting onto the main road and back down to the Richmond Hill Playing Field.
Oliver Crease is encouraging the public to take advantage of the free testing tomorrow, which will conclude with a glue match.
So yes, we normally see headway where people, can be helped. If they don't have a machine, we'll be able to even help them to get a machine so that they can monitor their glucose level. Say we are making an impact, because when we look at your number and we see that your number is not where it's supposed to be, we usually counsel persons and they are grateful for the information that they get, because I mean, you out there and you're hearing a lot of myths about diabetes, and you're able to speak with person on a one-on-one basis where you're able to correct these myths about diabetes. Yes, they have been very grateful for the information.
A 4-day training workshop on Module 1 for the passive acoustic monitoring, the PAM for the St. Vincent parrot and other wildlife was held at the Bureau of Standards Conference Room from Tuesday, November 5th to Friday, November 8th, 2024. Wildlife supervisor with the Forestry Department, Glenroy Games, said the training session was designed to train officers within the Forestry Department in passive acoustic monitoring, a non-invasive method ideal for studying wildlife in SVG, with focus on the endangered St. Vincent parrot.
Now, how can we take care of an animal or a species and you don't know about it? So the first thing, we are involved in trying to learn as much as we can about all of these species. However, this passive acoustic monitoring program is initiated by Forestry Department St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and it is in conjunction with the UNDP and Florida University, and also with the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Now, you may know that we have been doing quite a bit of work with the St. Vincent parrot over the years, but this particular project started 3 years ago, and the Florida University have been coming to St. Vincent every year and bringing students to assist us in developing monitoring systems for this particular species. Yes, we know a lot about that, but even though we are targeting the St. Vincent parrot, the St. Vincent whistling warbler is also high priority for this program. All of these species are being recorded so that we can do management plans to facilitate the smooth flowing of any research along those species.
Game said 27 officers from the Forestry Department were trained in deploying audio mode devices and analyzing acoustic data, enabling them to monitor wildlife more effectively.
So that each person were given the opportunity to have a refresher for those who had already known how to use things like a GPS. And there's a special program on your phone that we were using to do the monitoring of the parrot. Now, I want to give special thanks to the range supervisors and the range officers who would have participated in this venture, because without the ranges in St. Vincent, Forest is divided into 4 ranges, from north leeward to north windward. And the actual work that was done, we went to the field and we covered from as far as Trinity Falls right up to Fancy, laying out these ARUs, the acoustic remote units. And what it does, it is set in a way that it monitors the movement of the birds, the sound of the birds, the food source, where they feed, and where they nest. So on an ordinary basis, we'll go into those areas and we'll conduct censuses and surveys. But with the human element, you could only do so much. But with these acoustic monitors, we can leave those out in the field up to about a month, and then we go back and retrieve them. And what we will do then is take them to a central computer where all of the apps are there, and we download. And when we download all of this information is fed into a central system where all the players are given the opportunity to see what is happening and hence monitor the species.
Practical sessions to deploy monitors and use GPLs for site location and marking were held in Spring Village and Richmond on Thursday, November 7, 2024, and Congo Valley and Jennings Valley on Friday, November 8th. James said from the acoustic monitoring workshop, they were able to set up 35 ARUs, which will enable them to monitor the birds in these areas.
And in 1 month's time, we will retrieve them, download them, and send it to a central computer, and then reset them and send them back to the areas in the field so we can learn as much as we can from these species. At the end of the day, we're just asking persons that you may be going through the forest for whatever reason. These acoustic monitors are there to monitor the species and learn more about the St. Vincent whistling warbler, the St. Vincent house wren, and the St. Vincent parrot in particular, because those are the 3 endemic bird species that we have in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So we're just asking persons, if you happen to meet any strange looking implements in the field, beeping, green or red lights, please don't interfere with them. That's going to interfere with our monitoring of our species.
Module 2 of the workshop is expected to be carried out in 2025 and will analyze the acoustic data collected to understand parrot habitat use.